think it's looking all right. And then here I had to open it up quite a bit because all of the greenery was on top, so I had to cut just right into the sticks there. And that is what it is. I'm cutting off a lot. Got to get on the other side here soon. It's hot. I'm sweating like crazy. Actually, it's only like 76 degrees out here. We got a high of 80 today, but it always feels pretty warm going up and down the ladder in full sun like that. There we go. Now we're in business. This hedge is a bit deeper than I thought it was. When I was cutting this side, I thought that I had trimmed through more than half of it, and that wasn't the case. Still got some in the middle to do. Okay, here's where I'm at so far. I was just up on the roof with my pole saw cutting some stuff way over there, so I got to go to the other side and drag it down. I've been going at this about 3.5 hours or so. It's taken me a bit longer than I thought it would. Fortunately, I work by the hour, not by the job. But yeah, one of the big reasons it's taken a lot longer is I just didn't realize how wide this is. I mean, this thing has got to be 15 to 20 feet wide, so I'm having a pretty tough time retrieving a lot of these branches I cut, and that's really what's taken the longest, because I'm not having that difficult of a time cutting it with my tools. I got my pole saw that's almost 10 feet to reach in there, and the hedge trimmers, everything's getting cut fine. It's just getting it down is sort of tough. And as far as getting everything, you know, perfectly flat, probably not going to be doing that. That would take all day long. So we're just going to get it looking pretty nice. It's a real big reduction in size. I'm getting pretty close to being done. I'm not going to try to make it look completely flat on top. I'd love to. And every time I get up there and look, it's like I really want to, but I know it's going to take a long time. I think the customer would probably just prefer me to move on to the next thing soon. We talked about trimming her olive tree. So we got an olive tree. It's probably going to take a couple hours. So I'm almost done with this. What can be kind of tough about a job like this is I got to keep walking around to the other side here to level ground so I can see how it looks, because I can't really tell that well from the other side. So I can see there's still a little bit over there, right there on top sticking up, but it's getting pretty close. I've got most of the debris out. There's bound to be some little pieces in there. I can't get everything. There's a bunch of trimmings in here, still not cleaned up out here. So if you guys are doing this by the job, obviously just keep that in mind. A good rule of thumb is always, bid more for basically longer than you think it's going to take, because it always takes me longer, and I'm terrible at bidding jobs. That's why I like doing by the hour. Well, it looks pretty good. She's happy. She's already looked at it. I'm not really totally happy with how it looks on top. I'd like it to be more sculpted, but with how tired I am right now, that'll take me like another hour just to do that. It's moving the ladder around a lot of times. Trying to pick the cuttings out of there is a real pain in this bush. And I'm not hauling anything away. I'm just going to pile it up, probably chop it down more. She knows that. She'll probably load it into her trash cans over time. So my customers actually will get their hands dirty a bit sometimes. This is the Bay Area. I don't have any room to park a trailer here. I barely got a space to park my truck right here, and I'd imagine that's several years of growth it took off. Okay, on to the second and last project of the day. So here's the olive tree. I'm going to be cutting all the shoots on top down to where it gets bushier. So I'm going to be cutting a lot off the top. I'm also going to be shaving quite a bit off the sides. I want to try to knock this out in like an hour and a half if I can. The reason I think this is going to be a lot easier than what I just did, not only it's smaller, but these should be a lot easier to drag down. Some of this is just going to fall right off the sides. Most of this should be easier to hook with something and pull down. Here we go. I threw a chain on the pole saw, and that's from cutting twigs that are too small. Shakes it off. So this is how I mix up my gas, guys. I topped this can up with about a gallon the other day. So what is it, 2.7 ounces per gallon, or is it 2.6? So I just go 1 shot, 2 shot, 3/4 of a shot, a little bit for good measure. I've mixed this a lot of times. I definitely don't suggest that newbies do this, but I can recognize the color of the gas if it's way off. I know just by looking at it if it's ballpark. To me, that looks perfect. It's not really dark. I can see the bottom of the tank pretty easily. And I could go with a little bit less or more oil. I've never had a problem doing this. Okay, this one's going well, but reaching some of these branches is still a bit tricky. And stabilizing this ladder around this hillside right here has been tough. It's felt sketchy. The ladder's tilting like crazy. The ground's really soft. So yeah, this one was not as bad, but the thing about doing jobs like this, I feel like, at least for me, they can kind of beat me up so much that I'm not really recovered the next day. So it can make it, you know, difficult to do a full day the following day. So choose your jobs wisely, right? Choose accordingly. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and call it done. It would be nice to shape the top a little bit more, but I'm gonna go ahead and leave it alone because at this point, anything I cut, I can't get it down. I just have to leave it up there. Okay, after talking with a customer about more work next week, the sun's about to go down. So I just wanted to show you guys the newest member to the family. This is the HS87T. I got this used like new pretty much. This little chip happened in my truck. I was trying to keep this thing like showroom clean, and it already, it's just cosmetic stuff, but these scoops right here on these single-sided hedge trimmers are amazing. They just sweep all the debris off. It leaves it really cleaner than you could probably get it with the rake, and it just saves a lot of time. There's two models of the single-sided hedge trimmer, the T and the R. The T has a faster RPM. I think it may have a more narrow blade spacing, and it's for making finer cuts. The R is for a little bit thicker branches and more rough cutting stuff. I went ahead and got the T because I wanted this to be my dedicated nice hedge trimmer for boxwoods, sweeping off the small leaves so I don't have to try to do it with a rake, but this thing runs amazingly. Love it. All right, guys, thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you on the next one.